Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel here with Tim Forshee of Forshee Law, the guy that you should be getting your NFA trust and your CCW from in the state of Arizona.
Thanks, Sean.
And we're here at C2 Tactical talking legal stuff here on John's Briefs. We recently had a video on the big channel out of Washington, and this poor woman, man, she got beat like a dog, like a rented donkey, you know? And I want to talk about the use of deadly force and when disparity of force is enough and gets to be enough to justify the use of deadly force.
Firearms Legal Protection is who I trust to help me after a use of force incident. If you're a Firearms Legal Protection member, I will also be on your team as a consulting expert, and you can attend our monthly active self-protection training seminars for free. Check out all they offer to their members at the link below.
I think obviously in this case, when you watch the video, there's no question that she was at risk of death or great bodily harm.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's
in fact, I was very surprised when you told me at the end of the video that she wasn't seriously injured, because I expected to hear broken ribs, fractured skull. Yeah, horrible.
Thank God she covered up, you know, did a pretty good shield job and protected her head, her neck, her face, and she was dinged up, but thankfully not badly. And there was 5, 6 guys in there.
I think I counted 6.
Yeah, I think I counted 6 as well. And so, I mean, obviously, in this case, I am being assaulted in a corner by at least one of a pack of 5 or 6. Right. I was sure I was headed to the hospital or the morgue, and so I drew my gun and I started shooting. Right. And you know, after I shot the first one, word spread fast, and the rest of them screwed off. Okay, fine. I don't think that would have been a problem. But this issue of disparity of force gets muddy fast.
Sure, it can.
Because I hate it, but damn it, I'm getting too much lawyer in me that I'm going, it depends, right?
That's why it's fun to talk about this stuff with you, though. I don't have to educate you. It's awesome.
I guess I've seen enough cases at this point that you go, man, it's not quite as cut and dried as all that. Because, you know, so I don't know that I've ever seen this somewhere, but I'd love to talk to you about this, that I've kind of talked to people about that I say, you know, as a general rule, if you want to feel safe with disparity of force, you want 2 factors of disparity. Now, I don't know that I've ever seen that as an actual standard in a court.
There's no legal standard to that. I mean, it's a lot of it's going to be, I mean, I know you do a lot of work.
What does the jury think, right?
Exactly. Well, how do you educate the jury?
Right.
And the way you educate a jury in this case is largely going to be through an expert witness, because I can't give opinion testimony, or, you know, I can't ask my client to give opinion testimony, but an expert can. Yeah, obviously, John, you're an expert witness in a lot of cases and one of the best in the country.
It's so fun to be able to literally have the opposing counsel try to narrow you in as the expert to a yes or no.
You can't.
And then to look at the judge and go, Your Honor, I believe the jury needs a fuller answer than yes or no. Can I please give a full answer? And once you've been declared an expert, the judge says, please go ahead.
It's your floor.
This is your best. Now I get to soliloquize.
So I've taken, you know, all of the courses from Assad Ayub, from LFI, and from the Ayub group, and so to some degree, I'm very much of a disciple of Assad, and I think that he's always sort of given this guideline, and it is a guideline only. It is not a law. It's not a statute. That if it's male on male, 3 against 1. If it's male against female, 2 against 1.
Right.
Unarmed. So 2 unarmed males against an armed female, she's probably justified in threatening or using. 3 to 1 if it's a male. Right. That's unarmed. Obviously, if it's armed, then disparity of force is the gun itself. So that is a guideline. It's a guideline that I think makes some sense as well, but it's merely logic. It's the application of logic. And I think what Ayub is saying is that in his world, that in the thousands of cases that he's been involved with, that in his world, that is significant disparity of force that can lead to great bodily injury or death. And as a result of that, I think it's appropriate to go ahead and respond with a firearm. I think that's a decent rule of thumb, but as you're pointing out, it's always going to be it's a large rule of thumb. It's a small thumb with a large rule. It's hard to say.
And women are going to get broad discretion because
much more than men.
Because testosterone's a hell of a drug.
That's right.
And because muscle mass matters.
Don't tell that to the NCAA, but.
Yes. I mean, listen, I don't even want to get into that issue,
kidding,
right? So the issue of trans rights and all that stuff is an issue that is muddy and ugly when we get into this
But
thing.
talk to any scientist, and testosterone significantly makes muscle stronger.
Testosterone's a hell of a drug. And so, listen, you get a man beating a woman, if he knocks her on her keister, and now she's grounded, and he's stomping her, you know, you're probably going to get an awful lot of leeway here.
Right.
You know, is it reasonable for a woman, you know, not just one man, but a man who is bigger than her. And so now I've got a size disparity and a testosterone
in
disparity.
this particular video, too, I think you had just so many different aspects of disparity.
I mean, you got a bunch of
I don't
disparities.
know, and I apologize because I never really could see a close-up of her face, but it's clear, I think, that she's at least a little bit older than the guys that were attacking her. They would appear to me to be, the local Utes, the miscreants. So let's say they're between the ages of 16 and 26. She appeared to me to be probably in her 40s, would you guess?
40s, 50s.
So we've got an age discrepancy. Obviously, younger and fitter is going to be a disparity of force issue with regard to older and less fit. Male versus female, 6 versus 1. On the ground versus elevated. I mean, there's just so many different aspects of disparity of force. Had she had access to a weapon, would she have been justified in using it? I just can't imagine a world where that would not be yes.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't know if she still has the same job. None of my beeswax. I hope it hasn't changed her life for the worst. I hope it's changed her life for the better. But wow, if she saw, and I think you said that she had said in the post incident interviews that she knew she was about to be robbed. She saw them coming. She saw the masks. She saw the intent. She knew she was going to be robbed. And my thought was, gosh, if she just had an M4 Benelli sitting there next to her,
right?
And picked that up, and would that have changed the table just a little bit?
Heck, man, if she had a high point 9 millimeter,
for
goodness
that matter.
sakes.
Yeah, I don't have to be snoozy about it. Exactly right. Yeah, if they had suddenly realized they picked the wrong guy to mess with that day, yes, it would have been a different outcome. And thank God she survived with relatively minor injuries. But you and I both know this could have been devastating. This could have been horrible.
Remember, the cool part of a high point, right, is that when it runs out of ammo, it makes a heck of a hatchet.
And it runs out of ammo quickly.
Yeah, they do.
So,
So. I'm not suggesting a high point is the preeminent self-defense tool, but hey, if you've got $150 and nothing
that's
more,
all you got.
That's all you got.
Better
that's all
than
you
a
got.
sharp stick.
And listen, and you go, well, wait a minute, did they have weapons, man? When it's that many of them, that disparity. It's that idea again, and I don't want. This isn't like South Park. He's coming right for us, or I was in fear for my life. It's not a magic wand to ward away danger. I knew for sure I was going to die.
Well, and don't forget, according to FBI data, more people die in this country every year from feet and hands than from rifles.
Yeah.
So clearly that's lethal.
Yeah, it can be lethal there. And in that case, I think it's super clear. I think we see some others that get a little muddier, right?
Sure.
That get a little, it's not muddy if somebody's got a weapon. Somebody's got a baseball bat, a crowbar, a gun,
What if this
a
was
knife.
2-on-1 instead of 6-on-1?
Yeah, a 2-on-1.
And they're not particularly large guys, and one of them pushes her. I mean, at what point does it become sufficient disparity of force?
Right.
Sadly, that's going to always be a question left up to the reasonable man or the reasonable woman, which is basically the definition of a juror.
And remember, I mean, so one definition of juror is 12 people too stupid to get out of jury duty. But the other one is, a beast with an IQ of 1200 that
and 600 years of life experience.
600 years of life experience. Right. And so which one are you going to get? And I do think, we all think we're reasonable persons, but we recognize that not everybody is going to share our definition of reasonable. And is our definition of reasonable kind of in the middle of our county? Right. Is it on the edge of our county's understanding? That's a debatable thing. So when it comes to disparity of force, I always tell people, in a case like this, when we talk about black, white, and all the shades of gray in between, here we've got
pretty dark gray.
Pretty darn dark gray, right? Like would I call it pitch black? Yeah, close enough.
My wife would call it some weirdly named shade of gray. I would call it black. Yeah. But it's pretty close.
Yeah. Now, again, if you're a martial arts master and 2 crackheads decide they want your wallet, and you've got mad kung fu skills, you're some shade of white here. You know what I mean?
Every Bruce Lee movie I've ever seen, if there's 8 guys, they're polite enough to attack him one at a time.
One at a time.
That's what I've never understood.
That is the right way to do it. Or if you're Jack Reacher, remember, that's Hollywood. That's not real fights. People are like, oh, Jack Reacher broke all these guys' hands.
Yeah.
It's not real life, friends.
They're very compliant.
John Wick's gunfight wasn't real either. I hate to break it to you. But so that along those shades there, and I do love what Masada Ayub says, that if you comport yourself according to the standard by which you'll be judged, you will not find yourself lacking in the judgment, right?
One hopes.
One would hope. And of course I'm paraphrasing him there. That's not a quote, it's a paraphrase. But recognize that if I'm like, well, this medium gray, I feel good about using deadly force here. Okay, but you're going to get long looks. If you go, man, I'm not gonna unless I really see dark gray. Right. Then you're probably safer. That's that difference between can I shoot someone
and must I?
Should I shoot someone? Must I shoot someone? Right? And as long as you do that, in this case, slam dunk. You know what I mean? Just easy day, free throw. But in other cases, remember, it just depends. So if I have a significant medical frailty, you know, I've got a plate in my neck, and if a guy punches me in the face, you know, my doctor told me if I fall off a ladder, I'm dead.
That's right.
And so certainly somebody punching me in the face is worse than falling off a ladder. Right. And so when he said he was going to kick my butt, I knew it was going to kill me.
You knew that would be lethal.
Right.
And that would all come out later because that was based upon your knowledge. That's
Pushes you right to black.
If we find out later that he has 6 black belts in jiu-jitsu, and you didn't know that at the time, that cannot be used. That's exactly the difference there. But you always know about your frailties. That's right.
Right.
So,
Now, if he's walking around town with his black belt on, in his gi, looking for somebody's butt to kick, maybe that's different.
And you've seen him do a Billy Jack in the Prescott
Billy Jack
in the Prescott Town Square.
Yes, he's got his Chuck Norris kicking jeans on.
Exactly.
So, anyways, be cautious with that. Understand what it is. I think at the end of the day, listen, if you're a good, sane, sober, moral, prudent person, you're not going to worry about this stuff, right? If your standard is to merely be legal and see what you can get away with, you're going to have problems here.
You're going to have, and frankly, and you probably should.
And you probably should. Listen
and
to the
if this lady happens to be watching this by some miracle, man, we hope you're okay.
Yeah.
Get some training, maybe get a different job or a different location because we want you to be safe.
And I will say that I admire your emotional fitness.
And your ability to persevere.
To persevere. Well done. God bless you, everybody. Have a good day.